Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to my reading journey. I accidentally didn't upload my previous, actually, the second part of Jimmy Hayes and Muriel. I read it, but I override the recording, and yeah, I have to record it once again. So let me just quickly read it. So Jimmy Hayes became a favorite in a ranger camp. He had an endless story of good nature and a mild, perennial quality of humor, perennial, that is well adapted to camp life. He was never without his horned frog, horned frog, in the bosom of his his shirt, during rides on his knee or shoulder in camp, under his blankets at night. The ugly little beast never left him. Jimmy was a humorist of a type that prevails in the rural South and West. Unskilled in originating methods, originated methods methods of amusing or in witty conceptions, he had hit upon a comical idea and clung to it reverently. It had seemed to Jimmy a very funny thing to have about his person, with which to amuse his friends, a tame horned frog with a red ribbon around its neck. As it was a happy idea, why not perpetuate it? The sentiments existing between Jimmy and the frog cannot be exactly determined. The capability of the horned frog for lasting affection is a subject upon which we have had no symposiums. It is easier to guess Jimmy's feelings. Muriel was his chief doer of wit, as as such he cherished her. He caught flies for her and shielded her from sudden northers. Yet his care was half selfish, and when the time came, they repaid him, she repaid him a thousandfold. Other Muriels have thus overbalanced the, the light attentions of other Jimmys. Not at once did Jimmy Hayes attain full brotherhood with his comrades. They loved him for his simplicity and drollness. Drollness. But there hung above him a great sword of suspended judgment. To make merry in camp is not all of a ranger's life. There are horse thieves to trail, desperate criminals to run down, bravos to battle with, bandits to rout out of the chaparral, peace and other to be compelled at the muzzle of six-shooter. Jimmy had been most generally a cowpuncher, he said. He was inexperienced in ranger methods of warfare. Therefore, the rangers speculated apart and solemnly as to how he would stand fire. For, Let it let it be known, the honor and pride of each ranger company is the individual bravery of its members. For 2 months, the border was quiet. The rangers lulled, listless in camp, and then, bringing joy to the rustling guardians of the frontier, Sebastiana Salazar, an eminent Mexican desperado and a cattle thief, crossed the Rio Grande with his gang and began to lay waste the Texas side. There were indications that Jimmy Hayes would soon have the opportunity to show his mettle. The Rangers patrolled with alacrity, but Salder's men were mounted like Lochinvar and were hard to catch. One evening about sundown, the Rangers halted for supper after a long ride. Their horses stood panting, with their saddles on. The men were frying bacon and boiling coffee. Suddenly, out of the brush, Sebastiana Salder and his gang dashed upon them with blazing six-shooters and high-voiced yells. It was a neat surprise. The Rangers were in annoyed tones and get their Winchesters busy, but the attack was only a spectacular dash of of the purest Mexican type. After the flurried demonstration, the riders galloped away, yelling, down the river. The Rangers mounted and pursued, but in less than 2 miles, the faggot ponies labored so that Lieutenant Manning gave the word to abandon the chase and return to the camp. Then it was discovered that Jimmy Hayes was missing. Someone remembered having seen him run for his pony when the attack began, but no one had set eyes on him since. Morning came, but no Jimmy. They searched the country around on the theory that he had been killed or wounded, but without success. Then they following concluded that the wily Mexican had recrossed the river after his theatric farewell, and indeed no further depredations from him were reported. This gave the Rangers time to nurse as soreness they had. As had been said, the pride and honor of the company is the individual bravery of its members, and now they believed that Jimmy Hayes had turned coward at the whiz of Mexican bullets. There was no other deduction. Buck Davis pointed out that not a shot was fired by Salder's gang after Jimmy was seen running for his horse. There was no way for him to have been shot. No, he had fled from his first fight, and afterward he would not return, aware that the scorn of his comrades would be a worse thing to face than the muzzles of many rifles. So Manning's detachment of McLean's company, Frontier Battalion, was gloomy. It was the first blood on its escutcheon. Never before in the history of this service had a ranger shown the white feather. All of them had liked Jimmy highs, and that made it worse. Days, weeks, and months went by, and still, that little cloud of unforgotten cowardice hung above the camp. Alright, guys, you're gonna figure out what happened with Jimmy in the next video. I'm already know, but yeah, look at the next video. Thank you for joining. Bye.